Happy Monday, hashtag my global family. This is Dre, a beta, coyote walking in this world, and real life Isleta Pueblo superhero. Welcome to hashtag Monday medical marijuana moments of love, healing, and joy. Today's topic, family, is hashtag tackling tough conversations. How to talk about medical and recreational marijuana use with varying audiences. I am a coyote, a superhero in real life, a critical race theorist, whiteness intersectional scholar. I am also a revolutionary family, and this is part of my vlogging doctoral dissertation project. I literally created my own original critical race indigenous based theory called Walking as Coyote, in which I literally say that we as modern day warriors have to step up and become extraordinary in times of need. And if COVID is not an extraordinary time of need, then I don't know what is, family. So this superhero literally goes around sharing my story and training up the new generation of community leaders that we need today. So I literally tell people that I'm a survivor of trauma 3 times over, rape and molestation as a ramification of Indian boarding schools. In 2008, I'm a survivor of police brutality, in which I questioned a police officer and he arrested me for asking for his name and badge number. I got upgraded from severe anxiety and depression to PTSD, and I literally lost 9 months of my life by being stuck in my house. Unfortunately, family, 4 years ago, this coyote fell prey to a white male academic predator who literally slept with his students, caused harm, and forced this coyote to rethink my role in life. I became deeply depressed, family, and became suicidal. And ever since then, I've literally been holding institutions accountable for the trauma and harm that are caused to our people when we enter them. The workplaces have become hostile, have always been hostile for our marginalized brothers or sisters, and for those of us who walk in this world a little differently. So, how do I, as a revolutionary who talk about rape, molestation, trauma, and literally make videos about how medical marijuana saved my life and is not a drug to be criminalized, but rather a medication that allows this coyote to be the superhero we need? So, I am an auntie of 25 nieces and nephews and sorry, family, my cat is totally drinking my water right now. Of 25 nieces, nephews, and non binary amazing kiddos from around the world that call me Auntie Uncle. Now, family, they are my hope and they are my joy, and they ask about my medication. They've come to my house and they've seen me with my vape pen. If they're a little bit older, they might have actually seen me with my straw, right? So, how do I talk from everyone to my little nieces and nephews who are curious, to my high school aged nieces and nephews, to my peers and coworkers, all the way to my grandparents and parents? How I talk to these different audiences changes, and I literally want to share that story with you all. Years ago, as a fledgling academic, when I started my program, I was told to keep medical marijuana under wraps. They said, wait for tenure. It was the mantra that I kept hearing. My mentors had warned me that to be open about my medical marijuana use was the same thing as death. I'd be shunned and I wouldn't be able to find work or funding. And literally, it made me feel uncomfortable. I said, no, thank you, I can't. And I cannot and will not lie about weed. My guiding light, family, has always been brutal honesty. I embrace who I am and I share my story in the hopes that we literally stop shaming ourselves for using life-giving medication. So today I'm going to break down how I talk to a variety of audiences in hopes that using these empathetic examples will inspire you, just in case you're willing or want to potentially share any aspect of your life with your family, friends, and loved ones, including how or if you use medical or recreational marijuana. The more we use the superpower of empathy, family, The more we share our lived experiences with each other, we'll create bridges of understanding. Because then it's not strange or alien or the other. It's literally our family members, our community members, and our loved ones who are seeking help, therapy, and starting the healing process, literally using this medication. So, family, I hope that you will share and comment and literally join me in creating the revolution. So, first off, let's talk about youth. Now, I am a firm believer, and as an educator, literally of 12 years, family, 4 in K 12, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade in high school, and 6 years in higher education, nurses at Brookline College, shout out to my nursing family, social workers at New Mexico Highland School of Social Work, and educators here at the University of New Mexico. I literally have been sharing my work, but I also have parties. I go out in the community. I have 15,000 followers on 6 social media platforms. And I've also been very, very open to my family about how medical marijuana saved my life. I talk openly about the trauma that's affected my life in the hopes that we stop shaming each other, family, because this coyote is very, very flawed. I am not a perfect person, and I literally chose the coyote because of grandfather coyote's foolish past, but always having the ability of us to learn something from his adventures. So join me, family. Sometimes life makes us foolish, but as long as we learn from it, it's worth the human experience. So I am very blatantly honest with my nieces and nephews from around the world. They have questions and they're incredibly intelligent. As an educator, I can tell you that sociological studies prove that they can understand complex topics such as racism or homophobia at a very, very early age. They know when there are differences or how their family or community members treat others very, very early. They can pick out who their friends are, what's acceptable behavior, and what's not. So I believe, honestly, that it would be disingenuous of me to lie to my nieces and nephews in order to protect them. They see it, they smell it, and they've heard Auntie talk about it. Literally all of the time. Because it's a huge part of my life, family. And I'm very open about how to start the healing process because I want them to be free to explore themselves and to be proud of who they are. So, step one, family, when talking to young ones, and again, get their parents' permission. I am not by any means going off with my nieces and nephews and having conversations about weed with them without their parents' knowledge. Their family is with me all of the time and knows exactly who I am. And they trust me because I'm a responsible person who happens to also smoke weed. But they understand, family, that it is something that saved my life, not a recreational drug that I use lightly. Because I am medicated 100% of the day, 100% of the time I'm awake. From the time I wake up in the morning, I get my vape pen, to when I lay myself down to sleep at night. It is always and forever a part of my life, and my family understands that. So again, I'm very open with the young people because they are incredibly intelligent, family. And I've gotten those side looks like, really, Auntie? Really? And so, family, let's be honest. Do the research. Find out how intelligent and complex and incredibly intellectual our kiddos really are, and how we can literally have difficult conversations like race and class and medical marijuana and recreational marijuana with them. Because the bottom line is, family, we want them to be safe. When I talk to my nieces and nephews, or literally when I mentor youth in the communities, because I literally am a social activist and I specialize in youth participatory action research, which means that I do activist research with the communities in collaboration with them, and especially with the youth, right? So right now I have a partnership with Sembra Leadership High School, right? And I literally work and mentor students on projects centering critical race theory, intersectionality, whiteness, or medical marijuana. Now, you might ask, how would an academic talk to high school students about my research? Great question, family. And guess what? It came up today. So I am open about my experiences, but when I talk to audiences, literally as a public speaker, I tailor my conversation with them to the audience. So if I am literally talking to high schoolers, the first thing out of my mouth is not medical marijuana. I actually refrain from talking about medical marijuana research when I'm actively in an educational environment. At that moment, I'm not there because I'm a medical marijuana researcher. I'm actually there because I'm a critical race, whiteness, intersectional scholar, and community activist. So I am there speaking on that particular topic. Now, why do I do this? Why do I play the game? Well, one, family, I have a job to do. If I start with medical marijuana the first moment I step a toe into a high school or a middle school, my behind has a high probability of being shown the door. But if I'm very upfront about who I am and the work that I do, and it comes naturally into the conversation like it happened today, I talked to an amazing group of high schooler students, and one of them got inspired and wanted to talk to me because they need a mentor to help them through their year-long community project. And I said, sure thing. And we started talking and texting and emailing offline, right? Because you're allowed to communicate because you're literally mentoring them through a huge project, right? And I went to the teacher and I had that conversation and I said, this is what happened, right? How should I deal with this? Because I want to stay a community partner. And we had a very great conversation about, hey, the students have the internet. They don't live in a bubble, and all they have to do is Google your name, and they'll find out more about you. Which is great, family, because that means this student was so inspired, they went out of their way to do more research outside of class. Think about that, right? They're doing their own homework. They gave themselves their own homework. And so when students, right, youth, ask me about medical marijuana research, they're fascinated because it's a taboo subject, right? Their parents, their grandparents, their teachers, the cops, the media, everyone has told them weed is bad. It is a drug. It is a crime. And so for a well-educated, two-spirited, Ivy League graduate, published author, researcher, doctoral candidate shares my story, right? Again, in the classroom, I'm not talking about medical marijuana research. I'm talking about my positionality as a critical race theorist, as a pastor of Coyote's Lodge, House of Spirituality, Critical Theory, Medical Marijuana, my past work with youth activist groups, Loud in particular with Dr. Steve Desai, and the amazing kiddos, not kiddos, youth leaders, you guys. I'm sorry, I call everyone a kiddo. My 50-year-old students in nursing school are still my kiddos, so I love you all. But my role of matriarch is serious in my calling, and I mentor people on purpose, right? So again, be honest with the youth. Be honest with everyone, to be honest, right? That is the path. I don't understand as a coyote, as a superhero. I do not understand how people are not honest, because that's my guiding light. Again, family. So it just so happened I got outed, right? And it comes up and they're fascinated. And the first question is always, are you trying to legalize it? Can we do whatever we want, right? And I always say, that is not what my work is. My work is about sharing my own experiences, establishing marijuana as a medication and not a drug to be criminalized, and starting and having a place to start for a conversation, right? So I'm asking people to stop seeing marijuana as a drug, stop seeing me as a criminal, and open a conversation so we can talk about it as a medication, as something that helps me literally manage my life, right? Volunteer, do all this volunteerism with multiple organizations, to do research, to help other people find their voice, do advocacy cases on an individual basis. There's a lot of moving parts in my life, right? Vlogging, creating these videos. Someday, knock on wood, Valentina is amazing. Raising the nonprofit. I can do all of those things, but I would not be able to be successful or as sane as I am. And believe me, I know I make all those PTSD videos, but that is relatively sane because I am medicated and my family fully supports that decision. So, again, family, when talking to youth, I'm very open and honest about what I do. Because how else are they going to learn from our example if we keep hiding reality from them? They have the internet. I am not giving them any new information. What I'm doing is I'm providing the context for it to be seen in a humanizing light. I'm asking for people to see me as a human being and to empathize with my survival, not only as a multiple person who has had trauma affect my life, but also as a person who was not healed by traditional psychiatric drugs, right? After my second trauma episode, I was put on lorazepam, clonazepam, trazodone, so basically sleeping pills, tranquilizers, and antidepressants. And I literally passed out in the middle of Indian market, family. And I was so drugged up, it didn't make me Dre. I was not human. I was so altered by pharmaceutical drugs. And I had to take a step back, family. And I had to find an alternative path of healing. And for me, that was medical marijuana. And so I have to be honest, I will forever and always lead the rallying cry that this is medication that saved my life. So if you're working with youth, don't lie to them. Be honest. I'm also very honest with my family, my nieces and nephews and youth about the actual developmental effects about taking an altering substance, drug. It is a medication, but it is also a medication that is a drug, right? But caffeine's a drug too, right? So let's redefine what a drug is and challenge that construct as well, because that criminalizes certain populations, right? What we're really talking about is an addictive substance. No, well, not addictive, but it is a substance that could be taken, right? The whole debate about weed, whether or not it is addictive, it's still for debate, family. But I'm asking you to start problematizing old stereotypes, right? Stop just listening to the TV saying everyone who smokes weed is a criminal and a druggie and is up to no good. Because I'm asking you, as state by state the law changes from recreational and more people are getting the medical cards, the environment and society is becoming more accepting and understanding. So join me, family, in humanizing each other. Now let's go next to coworkers. How do I talk to my coworkers about medical marijuana? Easy. I just tell them. It's legitimate work, family. That is literally what I am doing as a revolutionary, right? My life, my story, and my research is all an act of activism. My grandmother made many sacrifices in my life so that I could get a college education and make sure that I had a voice and made space for other people behind me, right? The reason I'm here is so that my cousins, my sisters, my brothers, they can follow me up and create change in the world, and that I will not be the last Pueblo unicorn to get my PhD. I need our family to join me in academia and add our voice to what's happening. So again, family, with coworkers, I am blatantly honest and talk about my project, because people who look like me, who have credentials like I do, who are Ivy League graduates, professors literally in the field, and I take professor not as a title that any white institution will give me, but the respect and the work that I have done in the communities and the thousands of students whose lives I've touched in higher education for the last 6 years. That is what makes me an educator. That is what makes me a professor. That is what makes me a knowledge keeper. That is what makes me a revolutionary. So family, join me in being your true self and loving yourself. Now, friends and family, they have been with me on this coyote's 40-year journey so far. And I'll be honest, I am not an easy person to love, to get along with, or to be with all the time, family. I'm passionate, I'm fury, I am love, I am kindness, and I am also literally, I help everybody, family. And that has created a difficult life for me. because sometimes I will give away the kitchen sink and my whole heart and have to learn the hard way that not everyone is my friend. So, family, it is okay. This coyote has made a lot of foolish mistakes, but at the same time, I have learned from them. And I have used medical marijuana and shared my trauma with my family and told them how much it means to me, how it literally makes me feel and allows for me to be productive during the day because my stomach is settled, because I feel slightly more confident and I feel like I can tackle my giant to do list. So, again, family, when you're talking to your friends and loved ones, just be open and honest and tell them why you need it. Why does it make you feel? Because there's a lot of misinformation out there about a quick high or a quick fix or just a euphoric feeling. And yeah, some people do enjoy that. This coyote hasn't in years. But at the same time, why do people chase that bit of euphoric feeling? It's so that they can escape for a moment and feel good about themselves. So, family, a natural substance that does no bodily harm to you, that literally is a tool of therapy and healing, how can it be so bad? Allow your community members to partake of their medication and remove the stigma of criminalization so we can create a humanizing society for us all. Now, elders, let's talk about this. I love talking to my elders about medical marijuana because it's heartwarming. I have aunties and gammies from all over who ask me questions about medication, about edibles, who share their stories with me and talk about the old days and ditch weed. And it warms my heart because it's always been around, family. Our communities know about the healing properties of medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, and we've been utilizing them for centuries. So, again, family, thank you so much for spending this time with me. This was the first in our educational series, hashtag Monday Medical Marijuana Moments of Love, Healing, and Joy, hosted by yours truly, Drea Beta, Coyote Walking in This World, and Real Life Isleta Pueblo Superhero. Please visit our website at betaconsulting.com for more information or to find out volunteer opportunities to help transform this world. This coyote loves you. Have a great night.